Good evening. I'm calling this meeting to order. The time is 5:32 p.m. I'd like to announce up front that Dr. Sims is ill this evening, and I'd like for us all to send our best wishes to him and to Ms. Needham, who is also ill. Former President Ramos will be here in about 10 to 15 minutes. And Dr. Sutherland is in the back, will be arriving soon. In accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, this meeting is officially open with a quorum present. We are privileged to welcome this evening Meadowbrook Elementary School. And our Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Meadowbrook Elementary School Principal Terry McGuire.
1, 2, 3. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee. Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Ms. Jackson, members of the board, Dr. Scribner, the pledge this evening was led by one of our Joy Club members, Gabriella Negroni. She is also from our Language Center. So thank you, Gabriella, and her parents are here, and her little brother are also here tonight, so we would like to thank them for being here.
Could we please have Gabriella's parents and little brother stand up so we can give them one more round of applause? Thank you for being here. And I want to thank you, Ms. McGuire, for your leadership. You run a great school at Meadowbrook Elementary, and we appreciate you. Clint Bond from Communications will help us with other recognitions we have this evening.
Thank you, President Jackson. Members of the board, our JROTC greeters this evening are from the Army unit at O.D. Wyatt High School, where Mario Lane is the principal. Would you please join in thanking them for their help this evening? For 107 years, the men of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated have dedicated themselves to serving their communities. For over 70 years, the men of the Fort Worth Alumni Chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated have been an extension of this service to the city of Fort Worth and Tarrant County community. Over the past 4 years, through their Guide Right program, they have assisted the Community Food Bank in establishing a means to provide a heartfelt meal for deserving families during the holiday season. To influence our youth about the importance of giving, they have partnered with the Fort Worth ISD to hold the Kappa Canned Food Drive for the Community Food Bank. Much of the success is attributed to the work of our participating schools. Representatives of that group are here this evening to tell us about those contributions and successes.
Madam Board President, thank you for inviting the Fort Worth Alumni Chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi to be here with you on this day. It is quite an honor for us to be here, as most people may not be aware that within the city or within the county of Tarrant County, within 2017, there were approximately 1,600 homeless individuals. In 2016, there were approximately 1,500 homeless individuals. So you can see from 2016 to 2017, that number increased. We don't know what that number will look like for the year of 2018. But hopefully, with our efforts, along with yours, there's something that we can actually do about it. Here, we've actually partnered with the Bethlehem Community Center over the past 2 years, which is an extension of the United Community Centers, and to where over the past 4 years, we've actually have been able to give out turkeys as well as canned good items to those families within need. This past year, we passed out over 250 turkeys and boxed canned good items. With your support with the Fort Worth ISD, we had 33 schools that actually participated in this service. 17 elementary, 9 middle, and 7 high schools. That brought up a grand total of approximately 12,000 canned good items. Having said that, the Fort Worth Alumni Chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi, along with our Kappa Leaguers who are currently here with us today. Kappa Leaguers are our youth and leadership development program. We currently have a total of 7 young men. 4 are currently with us today. We're looking to expand that number this upcoming spring to hopefully maybe 14 to maybe even 20. So we'll definitely be reaching out for your support to identify key individuals that will be an asset to our program. But more importantly today, we'd like to recognize 3 schools up under the Fort Worth ISD program that made a significant contribution to the success of our annual Canned Good Drive. I'm going to ask if Brother Carroll will come forward as well as Brother Neely. The first, in the category of high school, goes to the Young Women's Leadership Academy with Principal Ms. Tamara Alberry.
And I'm going to help my brother out in this, Tamara.
In the category of middle school, our 2017 Diamond Volunteer Award goes to the principal at J. Martin Jacquet Middle School, Reginald Terrell. If he's not here, we'll set our representative.
We asked if Ms. Mawson, you could come accept this award. Mr. Terrell, he couldn't be here today because he had a previous engagement.
These guys do such great work. No wonder. They're so next.
And last but definitely not least, in the elementary category, and I'll read as I did not read before, as inscribed on the award, the 2017 Diamond Volunteer Award, teamwork is the fuel that allows common people to obtain uncommon results. The Fort Worth Alumni Chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi recognizes you as a team of achievers for the greater good. Thank you for your commitment and dedication to helping eliminate hunger. In the area of elementary school, that award goes to David K. Sellers. Madam President, we thank you for your time. We're definitely looking forward to a continual partnership with the Fort Worth ISD within the 2018 year as well as years to come. We're looking to expand our services within all of the United Community Centers. Currently, we're operating with Bethlehem Community Center, but we want to reach out to all 3. So hopefully we'll make things bigger and better as we always do in the state of Texas. All right. Thank you.
Thank you all. I want to thank the Kappas. You all are always here when we need you, and sometimes when we don't even know we need you. This is amazing, the work that you've done and the lessons you teach on our campuses. Thank you so very much. And this will conclude our scheduled recognitions. We're going to take a very short recess so our guests may depart if they so choose, but we'd love for you to stay. At this time, we're on number 4 of our agenda, Lone Star Governance Goal Progress Measures. Dr. Scribner, would you like to say just a few words before the presentation?
Thank you very much. This is the last in the first chapter of our Lone Star Governance Goal Progress Measures for our academic performance. We're going to be shifting in coming board meetings to a broader scope, focusing on our classroom instruction and the initiatives there. But tonight, we will wrap it up with the board's and the district's goal progress measures 2.2 and 2.3. And with that, I'll turn it over to our Chief Academic Officer, Mr. Charlie Carroll.
Thank you, Dr. Scribner, members of the board, President Jackson. Appreciate this opportunity to present this information to you this evening. We are broadening out a little bit this evening. We're dealing with a couple of the goal progress measures in mathematics, middle years math. And there are several people sitting up here with me this evening because this is going to be a little bit of a broader and deeper look at where we have some challenges and opportunities in our middle years mathematics. So you'll see in front of you the school chiefs have graciously joined us at the table, as well as Executive Director of Multilingual Programs in Fort Worth ISD, Elder Rojas, and Assistant Superintendent of Special Programs, Dr. Sheffield, is with us this evening. And Assistant Superintendent, Curriculum and Instruction, K.H.R. Bradford, is going to present part of what you're going to see tonight. But leading off is Associate Superintendent Sarah Rispey, who will walk us through some data slides initially. So, Sarah, go right ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Carroll. So as we look at Goal Progress Measure 2.2, the board said a percentage of students in grades 6 through 8, so middle school math, who meet or exceed progress expectations on STAR Math will increase from 50 to 60%. And the STAR has two components, as you know, board. We have the achievement component, which is the percent of students who meet or pass a test, and then the percentage who meet or exceed progress. So from one year to the next, they are making progress, and this is looking specifically at that progress. As you'll see on the slide, in 2015, in grades 3 through 8, the state introduced new standards for mathematics, and so we had 52% passing under the old test. We now are, no progress was calculated when the new standards were introduced, and then they returned the following year with 50 and 16. The board set a goal of 52% for 2017, and actually we exceeded that goal. We were at 54%. And then we were shooting for the goal of 56% when we take the STAR again this spring. For student groups, we have the Hispanic, African American, and white, and one thing that almost never happens in 2016, you will note that they all scored the same. They were all at 50% progress, and then progressed, increased the following year, and we have just a little bit 1 point difference between some of the groups there. Then we looked at this by students who are economically disadvantaged, ELL, or served by special education. So in 2016, you see that, and they all go up at approximately the same rate. The ELL group, in this instance, as the percent of students making progress, was lower than the economically disadvantaged and the special ed students, the percent making progress. They did gain 1 point more, but there is still a gap there between the ELL and the other groups. Some of the board members, Ms. Moss and some of the other board members, requested that we look at some of our most challenged campuses as a part of our presentation last time, and so we included those in the slides this time. So while Forest Oak was not rated improvement required in 2017, they are one of our leadership academies, so we included Forest Oak, and then our one IR campus at secondary middle school is Glencrest 6th. Here we have the slide with those two campuses. Forest Oak is the red bar, and you can see that their progress is fairly flat through the spring of last year. I wanted to remind you again that these are last year's STAR data, and so we'll be having new STAR data now in a few months. And then Glencrest 6 in 2016 was at 55%, and it took a pretty large drop to 33% growth in 2017 when it was rated IR.
So we have a layered approach to assessments. The first level is there are unit assessments available in mathematics embedded in the curriculum. We also have interim assessments that were given at the second 6 weeks, the third 6 weeks, and the fifth 6 weeks. For middle school, they scan the data into the centrally so we can review it. And in high school, they actually take it online through our online assessment portal, which helps us go paperless with our one-to-one devices. During the fourth 6 weeks, which is happening now, their students are given a benchmark. And then the sixth 6 weeks, you'll see that we have the STAR assessment happening May 15th. This year, we also have, in the first 6 weeks, we were able to give a screener in October with the NWA MAP growth data, growth assessment, and we also did that assessment again in January, which is our screener for all of our mathematics. So schools have ongoing access to data to inform instruction.
Thank you, Ms. Bradford. And that leads us into Goal Progress Measure 2.3, where we look at the percent of students in grades 3 through 9 who are making progress as measured by the Fort Worth ISD local assessments. And in this case, these are the benchmark data from previous years. You'll notice we do not have the 2018 data in there yet because students just are completing those benchmarks right now in February of this year, scanning those data, and schools will start using those to target instruction over the next few weeks. So again, you'll see where the new standards for mathematics came in. We see a slight dip there, and then teachers begin to adjust their instruction to address those new standards that have been introduced. And so we had a goal of 42% in 2017. The actual was 46%. Here are those same data broken out by student groups. In this view, you will see that the achievement level on the benchmark of our African American students, there is a gap between that of our Hispanic and our white students. Those trend similarly with that gap staying about the same, and we see that corresponding gap, again, we'll see that in the STAR data if we were to look back at the STAR achievement data. We also have here the economically disadvantaged, ELL, and special ed. This time you will see, again, while they're trending the same, there is a gap in the performance of or percent passing of students who are served by special education and on these benchmarks. Here is a slide for Poly High School. At high school, Algebra 1, of course, is the STAR data that we're looking at, that we are assessing toward with our benchmark. The algebra new standards came in a year after the 3 through 8 standards, so that's why those move forward a little bit. So there's 28% when we implemented new standards in 2016, and then you see that the teaching, again, it begins to respond, and students are achieving better on the assessment. And remember that these benchmarks are given in February, so the percent of students passing at that time on an assessment that assesses over the whole year content is not as high as you would expect it to be later when they take the actual STAR test and they've had the whole year of learning. But it does give the students and the teachers some information on areas to work on. Here's Forest Oak and Glencrest 6th. In this, you will see that where those new standards came in and both campuses start to respond to those as far as their benchmark and the percent of students passing. And on this last slide, we have the 4 elementary leadership academies. I know with 4 lines on there, it's a little bit difficult to see. Most of them start to go up after the new standards, and the one exception is John T. White, which is the light gray line, where they had still a little bit of a decrease. Again, these are last year's information, and all of the data coming in with John T. White in the early data are indicating that they're turning that curve up like the other campuses. I know that you had asked about seeing all of the IR campuses, but as busy as this was, we gave you the leadership academies on the slide, and in your packet on the left-hand side, you'll find a stapled set that has all of the IR campuses. So if there are other IR campuses that you wanted to look at, they are in your packet. And Dr. Sims asked to see all campuses. That was a fairly thick little packet when we looked at it, of about 130 pages. So we have that electronically that we're going to send you by email tomorrow, so that you'll have any campus that you would like to look at for those data. You'll have those and be able to choose a campus or all of them if you'd like to.
As we review supports available to students with special needs served in special education, thank you, served in special education under IDEA, the Individuals with Disability Education Act, I would like to take this opportunity to remind the board that the majority of our special education students are served in the general education classroom. They are mainstreamed, and they are in inclusive, we call it inclusive practices, inclusive education, where they can have access to grade level content and curriculum. For this reason, the special education inclusion teachers attend training, special education sessions and general education sessions with the general education teachers so that they can be learning the content alongside the general education teachers. We know that the special education teachers are the ones who are the experts for accommodating and modifying the curriculum, while the general education teachers are the experts in the content. So by being trained together and having the opportunity for professional learning together, we capitalize on the power of two, and they can strengthen their skills by learning from each other. Special education students also have an individualized education plan where that is delineated and formulated in the ART committee. The ART committee is a mission review and dismissal, and in the ART committee, we have the general education teacher as well as the special education teacher present, and the parent who can give meaningful input into the individualized education plan for the student. Each special education, the special education department also purchases instructional resources, supplemental curricula for the students with special needs, both in the form of digital format and also materials in the form of manipulatives for hands-on practice. We do know that, especially in the area of math, students with special needs have difficulty transferring the concrete concepts to the abstract mathematical concepts. And so the materials for hands-on practice really do facilitate the transferal of the concepts to the higher level thinking of the abstract. They also participate in additional practice in small group rotations that are where teachers target the skills that are respective skills for each student as identified, the need is identified in the individualized education plan.
In alignment with the district's, here we go. In alignment with the district's goals for elementary reading through the 100 by 25 initiative, middle years math, and college and career readiness, Multilingual Programs is working closely with content areas to ensure success of all English learners. Some areas of collaboration include professional learning opportunities for teachers through a focus on culturally responsive pedagogy, second language correlates to the Fort Worth ISD learning model, quality teaching for English learners, or QTEL, ESL academies through A&M University, which includes the ESL certification. In addition, we are working with campus administrators and staff to develop language action plans for English learners who are not making adequate progress and for strategic language and academic supports for long-term English language learners. Furthermore, there are academic language development specialist positions at campuses to coach and support teachers in academic language strategies and best practices. This spring semester, we are launching the Journeys Excel, Excellence for English Language Learners, a college and career student leadership, retention, and achievement program geared for English learners.
So from a curriculum standpoint, we are vertically aligning our curriculum as part of our redesign, and we have transfer goals. What we're focusing on is the underlying processes in number, operation, quantitative reasoning, patterns, relationships, algebraic thinking, geometric and spatial reasoning, measurement concepts, probability and statistics, and the integral role of technology in mathematics. Ooh, that's a lot, right? And these are middle schoolers and elementary school. So our intensive mathematics program, as you can see, we started this year with the NWA MAP assessment, which really helps us monitor growth and progress of our students. So we began looking at mathematical knowledge and skills, and it gives teachers, students, and school leaders information that can inform instruction and better support the students' individual needs. We also convened a mathematics task force, which consists of principals, assistant principals, teachers, central office staff, to develop the comprehensive mathematics plan, which establishes the standard for what instruction looks like, aligned with our Fort Worth ISD learning model. They're also receiving targeted professional learning. We are providing support for teachers in the area of intervention, and also some extracurricular mathematical experiences for students, such as the middle school mathematics problem-solving competition to promote positive interaction with mathematical concepts.
We'd like to thank the board for providing us an opportunity to share this information with you this evening, and would welcome any questions or clarifications that you would like for us to answer at this time.
Looks like no questions. Thanks for a great presentation, and thanks for being so responsive to the board's request.
You're welcome.
At this time, we'll move to public comment. Let me remind you, because of restrictions by the Texas Open Meetings Act, board members may not engage in a verbal exchange about a subject that has not been posted. We will listen and take notes, but the board is prohibited from responding to any inquiries made during a board meeting on any topic not posted on the agenda. However, the board may reply with, 1, a statement of specific factual information given in response to the inquiry, 2, recitation of existing policy in response to the inquiry, or direct the person to visit with staff about the issue. While the board listens to concerns of a general nature and issues of common and individual concern, the board will not hear complaints about specific individual employees or public officers during the public comment session. Speakers shall refrain from mentioning names of individual employees or public officers during their comments. Any employee, parent, or other member of the public is asked to comply with the appropriate grievance policy to have a complaint heard pursuant to the applicable board policy. In accordance with board policy BED local, speakers shall have a 3-minute time limit, and we ask that you please observe this rule. Furthermore, a speaker may not relinquish his or her time to another speaker. Delegations of 5 or more persons shall appoint one person to present their views before the board with the time not to exceed 5 minutes. Siobhan Davis. And second will be Cynthia Banks McKinney, and third is Mr. Stephen Poole.
Hello, dear board president, members of the board, and superintendent. My name is Siobhan Davis, place of residence 4720 Lowell Lane. Topic is my hiring experience. I'm here today regarding my recent experience with Fort Worth Independent School District hiring process. I was requested to apply for the new theater position at I.M. Terrell High School and for an after-school theater program that I was going to be directing at Van Zant Gwynn Elementary School that was set to start in March. I'm about to enter my 5th year as a theater teacher and have served and made an impact in 2 different districts. I've received accolades and awards for building and growing theater programs. I've directed elementary and middle school students with minimum to no theater experience to win awards in theater tournaments and to produce stage plays. I've also had multiple students under my direction to be accepted to fine art schools. But none of the differences and student successes that I've made in my recent and short time as a certified Texas educator were good enough for me to be hired with Fort Worth ISD. Almost 11 years ago, I was erroneously arrested, which left a negative mark on my background. I have not been in trouble or suspected of any crime since that time in my life. Just last year, I was able to afford the cost of having my criminal background sealed for non-disclosure. Fortunately, my petition for my record to be sealed was ordered by a Tarrant County judge. The order I have attached in the email that I also sent you guys. I was raised in Fort Worth, and I attended Fort Worth ISD schools my entire life. I attended Sweet Lily B. Clayton, McLean Middle School, and Pasco High School. After high school, I was accepted into Clark Atlanta University in Atlanta, Georgia, and I graduated with the Bachelor of Arts in Theater Arts. My plan was to bring all of my talents and experience back to my hometown of Fort Worth, but I've been denied that opportunity. Most importantly, the students of Van Zant Gwynn, who were expecting my program to start soon, will be denied the opportunity to experience theater under my direction as well. My recent application was submitted with high recommendation from both of the districts that I've worked with. I was denied employment with Fort Worth ISD and the right to appeal that decision, along with people who have committed such crimes as capital murder, indecency with a child, and sexual assault. I would have liked the opportunity to explain my background and the steps that I've taken to put my past behind me. My effectiveness as an educator comes from the fact that I have overcome my past. If the state of Texas can grant me a second chance, why can't Fort Worth ISD, the school district that educated me my entire life? I do not understand why an arrest that was granted by a judge to be sealed for non-disclosure would prevent me from being hired. I'm contacting you, and I'm here today, for you to reconsider the decision to not hire me based on judgments of my past. I am more than an arrest from almost 11 years ago. I am a certified Texas educator dedicated to making change, and that has a strong desire to impact my community of Fort Worth. I should be considered for these positions because of the differences I've made through theater and the differences I continue to make.
Time, please.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Time, please.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, just close it down. I'll give you 15 seconds.
Okay. I just encourage you to reconsider your hiring processes and consider giving people with nonviolent misdemeanors and felonies a second chance, like the state and government agencies who granted my certification or grant people's expungements or sealing of their records. I'm disappointed that I won't be able to take my talents and passion of Fort Worth ISD, but I won't let this experience discourage me.
Thank you. Cynthia Banks McKinney.
Good evening, Madam President and the board and the superintendent. My name is Cynthia Banks McKinney. My address is 3562 West Boyce Avenue here in Fort Worth. And I would like to address the issue of Siobhan Banks Davis. Siobhan is my oldest daughter, and she is a wonderful, wonderful, excellent theater teacher. She worked in Dallas ISD. She worked in Grand Prairie ISD. She's sought out by Arlington ISD. And she also works at my daycare with the students that I have there that I've had since 1993. As she stated, she went to Lily B. Clayton Elementary, McLean Middle, graduated from Pasco. She had perfect attendance. She never had a behavioral issue or never been suspended from school. And she actually helped tutor the kids in calculus. She was the president of numerous clubs when she attended Clark Atlanta University, and she graduated with honors. To date, she has students that had no theater experience accepted in Grand Prairie Fine Art School and other fine art schools. She also had 4 students accepted at Booker T. Washington School of Visual Arts, which Erica Badu came from there, Nora Jones, and Wayman Tisdale, just to name a few. She's won first place. Her students have won first place in every single category she puts her hands on. Every competition, the Irma P. Hall theater program event that she puts on, she's won first place with all these students that people wanted to throw away. So my question to Fort Worth ISD is, why can't she come home? Why can't she come home? Why is it that every other district wants her, but you don't want her? You don't even want to give her a chance. And you're her home district. Why is it there's no second chance consideration? If you look at her background, you will see it wasn't as bad as a lot of these things a lot of people may have. So my question is this what Fort Worth ISD want their students to know? Is this how they want them to feel? Is this the type of student that you're raising in this district to believe that there is no second chance? Because I'm not understanding that. She has things that can back up every stitch of character in her can be backed up. And I just want to know that question. Are we a district? Because I'm in this district. I've been here. Are we a district that want our kids to believe that there's no second chance? That there's no opportunity to come home? She wants to bring her talents back to her city, into her areas, to show them, okay, I did it, you can do it. I'm an example. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Stephen Poole.
Good evening, Ms. Jackson, members of the board, and Dr. Scribner. Last week, UEA released its 25th annual teacher salary comparison, and I wanted to bring this to your attention tonight. We take 32 area school districts and rank them at 5-year intervals, beginning at year 0 all the way to year 30. We have bachelor's on one side, comparison of the master's degrees on the other. And for your convenience, I highlighted Fort Worth. This year at beginning salary with bachelor's degree, you're tied for 8th place. And that's actually up 2 places from last year. You can see that's the benefit of the focus on the starting teacher salary and the results there. At year 5, you're ranked 11th. That's up 1. At year 10, you're ranked 13th. That's down 6 spots from last year. At year 15, you're 7th, that's down 1. At year 20th, you're 9th, that's down 2. 25th, you're ranked 4th, that's unchanged from last year. And at year 30th, you're ranked 4th, that's down 1 from last year. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat it. This is not a good position for the district to find itself in. Other districts are making leaps and bounds changes in their teacher salary compensation. It wasn't too long ago that Fort Worth was one of the tops in the area, especially for veteran teachers, and in the top 5 for all categories. I always say it takes working conditions, benefits, and compensation to retain our quality folks, but also to attract them into the district. If we think of those 3 areas as legs on a table, 2 of the legs are wobbly right now. We have teachers who are feeling overworked and underappreciated, who have to go to 2-hour faculty meetings every single week. And when they take a look at this comparison and see where they could go, and this goes out to over 90,000 public school employees, and the schools of education clamor for this information. They look at it and see, is this where Fort Worth, where I want to begin my career or change careers to Fort Worth? So we do have some work to do, and I hope you use this information as part of your budget process. And our association will be glad to work with you on this issue and working conditions as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Poole. At this time, we'll reconvene in regular session in the board conference room. In accordance with the open meetings law, the board opened the meeting at 5:32 PM in the boardroom with a quorum present, recessed to open session in the boardroom, and is now reconvened at 6:22 PM in open session in the board conference room with a quorum present. As board president, I'm making the following statement in accordance with policy BBFA local. This is a reminder to all board members of the legal conflict of interest requirements and disclosure requirements you may have for matters under consideration on this agenda for this meeting. If required by law, board members shall recuse themselves from all discussion and shall abstain from voting on any matter pertaining to such a disclosure. Does anyone have any questions concerning consent agenda items this evening? Dr. Sutherland.
I have one. You know, I really am not opposed to TV advertising. I think it's a good idea. I added up all these numbers, and they come to $200,000. And I wonder how much everybody else is putting in. It seems to me that's a reasonable question. Items 3, 4, and 5, under A.
This is actually our targeted campaign for our community. There's another group that we are going in with other districts, but this is our targeted campaign. This is based on demographics and time of day to actually match our targeted audience. It's for NBC5, Telemundo, Univision, and we have some proof that it works because last year we went from 71% attendance to 95% attendance, and the parents told us that they did hear about it both from television and our radio ads.
71% of the seats filled.
Okay. So, what made you choose $200,000?
Well, we funded the entire campaign for $250,000. So that includes the bus benches, the billboards. We know that we have a rather large audience to reach, and we feel that this is the most effective way of doing it, again, based on last year's results.
Okay, well, I asked you why you chose $200,000. $250 if I'm off by.
Okay, sure. That would be the weeks running up to our big campaign to get parents to sign up and be aware of pre-K. So that's about the cost of a 2-week campaign, give or take a little.
Okay, well, I'm going to vote for it. I don't have strong feelings about it, but we got teachers that that don't have paper, okay? And it's very hard to measure the benefit of certain things in very different fields.
Right.
And I don't want to get too uppity about it, but
That's fair.
there's a lot of stuff that's add-on at the central office.
Yeah, I think.
And not in the classroom.
I think the return on the investment here is not only the additional revenue that we get from the state with regard to the enrollment of these students. We had 71% of the seats filled in 2016. Last year, that increased to 95. But in addition to that, enrolling students in early childhood is important as we're going to move toward our third grade reading initiative. It's part of that wider strategy. But we certainly will make sure that the dollars are spent judiciously.
Yeah, okay. Well, remember, the money that you're spending, this program does not pay for itself. And the money that we spend comes out of secondary programs, speaking broadly. So there you are.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? This concludes discussion of agenda items. We're going to reconvene now in this room for executive session.
And I'm going to have the leadership team stay because we're going to do.
3, 2, 1. Cue talent. These are the words that I've spent the last few years constantly waiting to hear. You see, they're the words that tell me to go. Speak clearly and share the information. I also heard them during Whiz Quiz. Speaking of which, some of you may remember another game we put on during the competition. Are you smarter than a Whiz Quizzer? Well, here's your question. What is the phrase that Superintendent Scribner emphasizes the most? Come on, I know everybody here's heard it. Preparing all students for success in college, career, and community leadership. He just said it earlier, too. It's amazing. Now, every time I hear the words cue talent, I tell someone else's story. Well, today, I'm here to tell you my story. Hi there. My name's Jacob Wells, and I'm a senior at Southwest High School. Southwest High School's advanced media program has introduced me to opportunities I could have never expected out of a normal high school experience. However, those opportunities are brought to students like myself because of Fort Worth ISD's partners. Partnerships guarantee the success of not just some students, but, say it with me, all students. All, A-L-L. All students have the option to take advantage of their educational opportunities. To me, this is especially important, as I've already reached an educational level that exceeds the rest of my family. My adoptive father dropped out in the 9th grade, and my mother became pregnant with me in the 11th. Thankfully, Fort Worth ISD's Go Centers have been there for me every step of the way. Last year, they led me to the Dream Big Fort Worth Determined Scholars Award. The organization, supported by the Rainwater Foundation, has granted me personal counseling, test preparation courses, up to $20,000, and a feeling of preparation for success in college. Just another example of an FWISD partnership setting me up for success. And through the Gold Seal programs of choice in broadcast journalism, I compete in the Broadcast News Production Contest for Skills USA. Skills USA is an organization that hosts competitions to allow students to prepare themselves to join America's skilled workforce. Last year, I was a part of the team that flew to Louisville, Kentucky to compete and place first at Nationals. Thank you. Now, I just want you to consider this. I'm in pursuit of a career in broadcasting, and becoming a national champion in a competition relating directly to it has to be a resume builder, right? If not that, it was definitely a confidence builder. Through this POC, students like me have toured WFAA. We announced at the XTO Energy Parade of Lights, and I was given the chance to speak here today. Partnerships are more than just monetary value. They're investments. I'll be honest with you, I'm not exactly what you would call upper class. At one point in time, I was the only one employed in my 6-person household. I've paid bills. I've kept food on the table. With all of that, I still kept high expectations for my own education. However, this would not be possible without the support that my internal partnerships grant me every day. Ms. Dupree, the advisor in my broadcast journalism class, has assisted me in staying on my feet whenever I needed it. When my adoptive father went to jail, she was there to ensure that I was stable. The communications department bought me this suit for special events just like these. And when I was battling my issues at home, Scott Javette, an employee in the communications department, was always an open ear for me. They had no obligation to invest in me, but thanks to them and their investments, I'm able to stand here in front of you with confidence. I'm just one out of tens of thousands of students in Fort Worth ISD. Now, imagine, with the investments placed in us, imagine what we could do as a unified force. Imagine what else we could add to our resumes. Imagine who we will become thanks to you. I'm Jacob Wells, reporting for AMP TV, and this is my story. Thank you.
Good morning. Today we're going to learn about igniting our passion for literacy, engaging with new strategies that connect with students.
Here's a description of all the sessions.
All right. Well, good morning. Buenos dias. If we're going to have a productive workforce in Fort Worth, if we're going to have a prosperous city, if we're going to have safe neighborhoods and a healthy community, then we also have to have a literate community.
Teachers come and listen to me speak, and hopefully they're motivated or at least enjoy what I talk about.
What there isn't is someone walking up to you going, "You've got 2 minutes to get a book." But I also know that it's going to take the literacy specialists and the principals and the administration on the ground working every day with teachers in classrooms to help them get better at what they do.
We have over 125 different sessions. We hope to engage, ignite, and apply some literacy strategies that our teachers can take back Monday morning.
I have a lot of kids that are on level or right below level, so this is great.
5 minutes in your next station.
We are looking at the directions for some star games.
When you tie in the literacy games, you're at play, which means you are engaged in an activity and you're learning, but you're not realizing that you're learning.
I know that whatever my kids learn in first grade, they're going to take on the second, third, fourth, and fifth, because it's a foundational grade.
It's about their future. Early intervention is key and it's critical.
Fidelity Investment's strong presence in the Fort Worth ISD is a source of great pride for us in the region, creating lasting impact for the students and teachers while providing a fulfilling volunteer experience for our employees. Our associates rise to the occasion every time. It's truly their leadership and their personal commitment to the projects that we believe is the secret sauce to our success. Perhaps even more importantly, though, it is the school administrators at our schools that absolutely make it work. From principal to custodian, Fort Worth ISD shows up to deliver an impactful, fun, and seamless volunteer experience.
At Dunbar High School, we have been in partnership with Fidelity for about 2 years, and we have benefited from Transformation Day. Partnerships with Fidelity are important. They donate supplies and human capital, but what it does is it builds lasting community with our students and our parents.
Last May, 75 volunteers showed up at our campus. They painted, they built benches, they stained. This past December, Fidelity sent the Science and History Museum to our campus with 25 volunteers. And most importantly, weekly, 15 Fidelity volunteers directly impact the district goal of 100 by 25 every Wednesday morning. They log in and they virtually read with our students. We could not ask for more. So we want to say thank you to Fidelity for their continued investment in Fort Worth ISD.
So today we're having the Fort Worth ISD Back in School event here at Sequest at Ridgemar Mall. We are connecting families at kind of a mid-year point back to curriculum and resources that the district and community have. We've got some bags for the families to take home, trying to get families thinking about what are some things that we need to focus on now for the school year, but also in the coming school year. There is a lot for kids to do here. They can feed the animals, they can get close and personal with the animals and kind of learn about their habitat.
They're usually a lot of fun to feed, but since they're taking a nap, they're not going to be eating right now.
And where the animal came from, anything from coloring to looking through a microscope. We have really hands-on features.
And so this is an American ball python, and this guy's still very, very young. He's less than a year old.
Each year we try to find a different community partner, something that you can come out and enjoy time with your family, but it's also a way for us to, connect them back to the school. That's what it's all about for us.
And from the very get-go, I've felt from everybody that I've encountered in Fort Worth ISD, just this level of openness and eagerness to let us come alongside and help you all do what you do. But to be able to see how you guys are helping carve out a future and a hope for this next generation blesses us.
They painted the playground equipment, they totally remodeled the teacher's lounge, new fridge, new furniture. Then they started the backpack initiative, 226 backpacks, right, Ms. Johnson? Filled with supplies and uniforms just every year now. For several years they've done this. We've actually increased enrollment out of that relationship.
They do so many different projects, so many different programs for us. They run our annual holiday fair so that our families that wouldn't typically have the money to go and buy Christmas presents or clothing for their children to have something under the tree, they make that possible. But I think meetings like this today, where we're focusing on all that's right, and all of you who are doing what is right for our schools, is very important. And it's because you take your time to come and read with students and share with students, you're making a difference. And I hope that you never doubt that or question that, because you are. And we appreciate you very much.
Good afternoon. Thank you guys for coming to our annual Founders Day luncheon.
We are here at Fort Worth ISD's Council of PTA Founders Luncheon. Fort Worth ISD has had PTA for over 100 years, 108 years. And the importance of PTA is to ensure that there is a two-way flow of information. We can learn as much from parents as they can from us.
My kids would call me a helicopter mom. I don't think so. I love to volunteer. I can't say no.
I was excited to meet one of our PTSA leaders, Parent Teacher Student Association.
We try to get parents and teachers and students involved so that we can make a change in the school. Just the minor things can have a major effect.
You always benefit when you reach out and you ask the people in your community, what do you want for your kids? What do you want from the PTA?
We are much more intelligent than any one of us is individually. I am very, very proud to be working alongside of you and considering you colleagues as we educate and prepare 87,000 students for success in college, career, and community leadership. So thank you very much for your commitment. Have a great afternoon. Thank you.
Each year, our program provides exemplary, enriching, and educational performing arts programs at Bass Performance Hall, free of charge for 70,000 students and teachers. The core initiative of our program is called Student Performances at Bass Performance Hall. And we are thrilled that from those early meetings in 1994, the Fort Worth ISD mandated that students in the 1st through the 5th grade would attend these arts education performances at Bass Performance Hall.
Since 1998, over 1 million of our students and teachers have attended performances by world-class musicians, experienced special educational opportunities, and professional learning in a world-class venue, all free of charge. Just imagine being a high school student and getting to run the lights and sounds of a concert at Bass Hall. The program shares our vision and mission to provide every child with a well-rounded education that includes the arts. The Children's Education Program has made and continues to make an enormous impact on the lives of our students and our teachers throughout the district. Dick Clardy, our Director of Instrumental Music, said it best. Bass Hall provides a beacon of light for our hardworking teachers and creates a vision in life for our students. Thank you for all you do.
Welcome to our National Signing Day ceremony, and I cannot tell you how proud we are of you. We're going to recognize our athletes, but probably the most important people that are here today are the parents.
Without them, I wouldn't be able to go to practice and then get through stuff through hard times.
Mark will be attending Cowley College in Ark City, Kansas.
Kids are excited. They put in a lot of hard work, a lot of practices, and so it's thrilling for them.
Athletics, it teaches you about setting goals.
Byron Hobbs, who will play football at Texas.
And that's what being a student athlete is about.
Next from Eastern Hills High School, Cortland Walton.
It hasn't hit me just yet, but I'm pretty sure it will.
Cortland will be attending Trinity Valley College in Athens, Texas, where he will play football.
If it wasn't for a coach that showed me that I had what it takes to win and do my very best and be successful, I wouldn't be here today.
Next we have Arayli Jimenez. Arayli will be playing soccer
Something that I've dreamed for since I was little. I knew I could get here, and all I wanted is to make my parents proud, and I think I did it.
Everybody don't get to go to college on a college scholarship. It doesn't happen. 2%. You're one of the 2%.
Next we have Pascal High School. First up, Gabby Drago. Gabby will be attending Azusa Pacific University.
It's a little nerve-wracking. I don't know, it feels like everything I've worked for since I was 3 just really paid off in like one moment, you know, and you're up there signing.
Make us proud, make your parents proud, and more importantly, make yourself proud. Congratulations, student athletes of Fort Worth ISD.
Good afternoon and welcome to Fort Worth ISD's Partner Appreciation Luncheon.
As we wake from this dream, we will see another day.
The purpose of today's gathering is to recognize those of you who have been supportive of our campuses and all of the students across our district. We all have one thing in common, and that's that we are working hand in hand with Fort Worth ISD to support and improve student achievement. The impact of your generosity is beyond measure. We can tally the resources that you've brought to our campuses, we can total the value of your contributions, but we will truly never know the lifelong impact your investment in our students has on them and their families. We simply could not do our important work without the support of our community partners. We remain excited about the possibility, the future, and the opportunities ahead for Fort Worth ISD students. Thank you for your investment in our students, and we are adjourned. Have a wonderful afternoon.
My name is Joshua Duran, and I've been driving a bus since May of 2017. Y'all ready? I'm going to stay on this route because it's a good way to begin in the district. I mean, it opens a lot of opportunities. You're able to see what's out there. There's many advantages working with transportation because you clock in at a certain time, you clock out, and then you got like maybe 2 to 3 hours in between. I'm being trained through Fort Worth ISD to be a mechanic. Clock out of Fort Worth ISD transportation, I clock back into the shop. I like working with my hands. You got no better tools than these right here, right? So I'm getting paid while I'm being trained. It's a win-win. I'm also studying to be a teacher as well. I'm just working on my associate's degree at TCC. Right now, I'm in my 2nd semester. It's a great place because, I mean, people you work with are amazing. This has been a good decision. I mean, it's blessed me a lot. I'm driving the bus, and I like working with the kids also, and I'm just going places. I feel like I'm making progress in my life.
What is the maximum gravitational potential energy of your rocket? My wife and I just moved down to Texas, right? So I didn't really know anybody here. How heavy is the top of the rocket compared to the bottom? Pretty light. A new teacher induction program is fantastic. I have a mentor from there. I have a mentor at my local school. Calculate the potential energy of the rockets due to gravity. Looks good. They have these events for us. They're really great. So it was a really large help to just meet some teachers who've had experience and give me a leg up on different techniques to help manage the classroom. Awesome work. We're gonna go outside and launch some rockets. Sound good? Okay, stand back. Oh, it's bubbling, hold on. Maybe not. We're gonna need more vinegar and baking soda. Sometimes when you do an experiment, it doesn't come out the way you want, and that's okay because you learn something from it. Then you can do the experiment again. Okay, it's all in. Cork. Oh! Maybe get it right, maybe it goes wrong again, maybe you learn something else.
Did you try the vinegar, baking soda?
Yes. One exploded on me. That's okay.
Really?
Oh, my campus mentor is great. And just giving me the support I need where it's like, wow, I got to do this, and I got to get this lesson done, and I got to do this. How am I going to manage all that? And she's been great and just, yeah, makes sense. Yeah. To make it very manageable.
safety of every kid, adult, staff member here in this building, you know, during the school day is paramount.
The most important things we do is we monitor the schools for any persons that's here that shouldn't be. We also watch for any situations that don't look right. Y'all need to keep moving. Let's keep moving. Most security type jobs, you're by yourself. Here you're actually with the kids and you get to really build a little working relationship with these kids. How you doing, man? Good to see you again. Good to see you. I started out in elementary school about 10 years ago. And a lot of these kids who were in pre-K back in those days are now like sophomores in high school.
This is year number 18 for me. I felt like a big brother to them, you know. As I got older, it went from a big brother figure almost to like a father figure. The kids grew up, I grew up a little bit because it just felt like it was a growing process for me.
It's not as stressful as a corporate job. How we doing, guys? Y'all okay?
Yeah.
Good, good. You have a lot of time off. You get to spend a lot of quality time with a lot of good students. This job is important because of the changing world we live in today. We need people around to watch these schools, to protect the kids.
Please come out so we can play with you, oh Mr. Sun. This is my first year teaching. I feel like every day is going to be a new experience. Conejo, conejo. A new challenge. What letter does win? So I'm always trying to find something new to motivate them. What an awesome idea. Let's give her a Six Flags stretch. Woo! The New Teacher Academy during the summer helped me to learn new strategies. In your level 1 voice, which is a whisper. They bring the teachers together at these events where we share ideas, and I went in there and I felt very welcomed by everyone. I got to interact with new teachers, and they were speaking about their experiences at different schools, and we share ideas on how to deliver the lessons. I would say to a teacher who's considering Fort Worth ISD that you can get a lot of support here, and there's a lot of resources. I know I serve a purpose, and it's to have each student learning. Muy bien. And I love whenever it's the end of the day and they're like, Miss Garcia, I love coming to your class. I'm like, oh, thank you. I'm like, I love you being here too.
My name is Chantrell McIntyre. I've been driving for Fort Worth ISD for about 17 years. I have to be at work at 6:30. So my day starts from there. 6:30 I am rolling. We're on the road. You're picking up pretty early. So you're like the first person they see when they come out the house. You look nice, girl. Hi, Jessica. You can be a positive or you can be a negative. But, you know, to me, I'd rather be a positive. Make them smile. Y'all doing okay? All right. This is personal to me. I have a sister who has cerebral palsy, and she's totally disabled. So I have a compassion for the kids that I pick up. How's your day going so far? Good. When I see these kids, I'm not looking at their situation. I'm looking at who they are. They love that you know them, not just another student that rides the bus. You know, they like you to interact with them, you know, build a friendship. What about the bowling tournament that y'all had? Oh, well, we won. Ah, Northside did? Yeah. Congratulations. You want to be a bus driver because you have freedom. You just have freedom. This job is so flexible. With me having kids, I'm able to take them to doctor's appointments. Also, if I just want to hang out with them, I can. You know, it's flexible. I can get extra work, or I can be with the kids. I just love it. All right, Miss Sophie. I feel this is the most precious cargo that you can transport. Tomorrow.
Tell me why your experience has been different. My name is LaTanya Hodges, and I teach 6th grade targeted reading at Jack A. Middle School. The narrative is really just from your perspective, from your point of view. I was actually recruited. I was living in North Carolina. I had never heard of Fort Worth. We want the stories to be rich and juicy. I actually love Fort Worth. I get to share that new city experience with my daughter. Even here at my school, you have this opportunity to kind of have a family, especially for me being home away from home. What looks like family? I have gone to my colleagues here and even my induction specialist. It's okay that I don't know it all. You have the support of the district. You really do feel like you are able to be a successful teacher. And I love them with all my heart. There is something so fulfilling about seeing your success through others.
Big words I could get.
And you're finding that you're reading more books because you're able to read on a higher level. Nice job. It gives you the confidence to keep coming and doing it every day. It does. And if that is anyone's ambition to be successful through student success, I say come to Fort Worth ISD.
Another paragraph is something that is about yourself.
Well, that was my narrative. I hope it was interesting.
My name is Anita Tatris, and this is my school. I arrive here at work about 5:50. I come in and I open all the doors, and make sure everything's brought up to par. It's a lot of cleaning, but it's enjoyable, it's rewarding. We clean bathrooms, we deliver packages. It takes all of us, my other custodians. What's on your agenda today?
I'm gonna mop the stage.
Even our teachers, right down to our kids, to try to keep our building clean. So how does it make you feel to make sure that your area is clean? Good. We are a part of a team that provides clean, safe environment for our kids that they can learn in. I'm very proud of my team. It's like a family environment. That's the best part of my job, my kids.
Y'all doing okay?
It's like I have a whole lot of kids here. They're my kids from another mother, so. Oh, I have my thing about my floors. I don't like marks. I don't like smudges. Look out for next year. It's gonna be better.
Three different poems, hence the three groups. You will all have a different poem. I've had a really good experience at Fort Worth ISD. So what is our rhyme scheme? A, B, D. It's been really amazing and really fun. You got it, perfect. A little overwhelming for sure, but there's been a lot of support, so I've been enjoying it so far. All right, how many stanzas does this have? I've gotten a lot of help from my new teacher induction specialist, Rebecca. She's been able to help me break down lesson planning and the objectives with the TEKS, and I was able to learn more ideas that I didn't know existed because this is a new career for me. Good job, Katie. Before this, I worked in college admissions. I was a college admissions counselor. So actually, I've seen firsthand, I know that when students don't have the grades that they need to get admitted to their dream school right away, it's usually because 9th and 10th grade, they messed around a little bit. So now with my sophomores, I'm trying really hard to just keep them on track. Look for repetition, look for phrases that repeat. If you have the right personality and you're in it for the right reasons, that you can impact not just the students, but the generations to come after that. That's what's most important. You can do this! And then you'll just be able to get the help and the support that you need along the way.
Fort Worth ISD's JROTC program has a remarkable lineage that has changed greatly over the years. Once looked upon primarily as a source of enlisted recruits and officer candidates, it has become the district's premier citizenship program, devoted to the moral, physical, and intellectual training of our young people. By eliminating most of its military content through the decades, JROTC has been able to focus on a structure that motivates student cadets through a sense of discipline, purpose, passion, and perseverance. This program is a cooperative effort between military services and host schools designed to produce successful students and citizens,
What is our philosophy of economics?
while fostering a constructive and disciplined learning environment at the campus level. JROTC is a continuing success story.
How many national colors can be present during a review, parade, or honor guard ceremony?
Sergeant, answer that question is 1, Sergeant.
The U.S. Military History course is a national model for helping students appreciate the past through the eyes of veterans. The staff rides have engaged cadets by bringing them to the actual location of historic events that they've been learning about in the classroom. And school community service hours help instill in each student the understanding that one's duty to country can begin very close to home. From a very modest beginning of 100 students in 1915, the program has grown to almost 2,400 cadets at 15 different schools. Our attendance rate is over 97%, and our graduation rate exceeds 95%. Cadets have earned nearly $6 million in scholarships while contributing over 30,000 hours of community service.
Sir, the colors are present.
JROTC and the Fort Worth ISD, working hand in hand to prepare all students for success in college, career, and community leadership.
Come join us.
In accordance with the open meetings law, the board opened the meeting at 5:32 p.m. in this boardroom with a quorum present, recessed and reconvened open session in the board conference room, adjourned regular session, convened executive session, adjourned executive session, and now we have reconvened open session at 7:17 p.m. in the boardroom with a quorum present. At this time, we are on item 12, accept consent agenda. Do I have a motion accepting consent agenda items, please? Motion by trustee Anael Luibanos, seconded by trustee Paz. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, please move to voting. Consent agenda passes unanimously. Moving to action items 13A and B, we do not have any items removed from consent, nor do we have any personnel. Moving to 14A, approve waiver of petition requirements for board policy CW local and approve naming of classroom at Edward J. Briscoe Elementary after Glory Griggs. Do I have a motion? Moved by trustee Jacinto Ramos, seconded by Anael Luibanos. Any comments? Just like to say a couple. Dr. Sims is so sorry he can't be here tonight, and he has been so honored to have the Griggs family actually support him. And I have the notes right here. Just give me 1 second. He also wanted to remark that the late Pastor Griggs from Mount Carmel Baptist Church on Fabian Street was a remarkable supporter and a dear friend, and he's very honored to have been able to submit this for the board this evening. Thank you all for being here, and now if we can move to voting. And the vote passes unanimously as we knew it would. And happily. 16B, approve updated Fort Worth ISD Board Committee chart. Do I have a motion? Moved by Christine Moss, seconded by trustee Anael Luibanos. Any questions or concerns or statements? Seeing and hearing none, please move to voting. And the motion passes unanimously. 16C, consider the adoption of an order authorizing the issuance of unlimited tax school building bonds, levying a continuing direct annual ad valorem tax for the payment of said bonds, resolving other matters incident and related to the issuance, sale, payment, and delivery of said bonds, establishing procedures for the sale and delivery of the bonds, including the approval and execution of a purchase contract and the approval and distribution of a preliminary official statement and an official statement, and delegating matters relating to the sale, issuance, and delivery of the bonds to an authorized district officer. Moved by trustee Ashley Paz, seconded by trustee Anael Luibanos. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none? Oh, Ms. Moss?
Thank you, President Jackson. I know we have this on our agenda, but if you look in your board book, I think it's page, pardon?
14C.
Right, 14C. And I know we're getting ready to sell the bonds. We knew that we would do that at the end of the month, or we needed the 30 days, which would occur in March. But my question is, the board and the superintendent, when we first talked about bonds, and I was asking for information, and one of my concerns was that over the years, we have had so many disparities in that area when it comes to who sold the bonds or who was in charge or who our financial advisors were. We've had the same ones over the years. And also, we had talked about this several years back, but nothing was done. And so now, after we started talking about equity and disparities, in Fort Worth ISD, we ask that you go out for new advisors, which we did, and also for bond underwriters and for bond counsels. And I think I spoke with you in the back and you said that we did, but I guess we didn't, we don't have them, we have not scored them. I'm not sure. The ones that did the RFP, or is this the group?
The request for qualifications for counsel, legal counsel as a whole, including bond counsel and other services, went out and it was returned, and the qualified firms will go to the board on the 20th of March. That's when it's set to go, the new qualifications for all counsel for the district.
Okay, so when we sell bonds in March, this is the group that was in place
Yes,
earlier.
the current counsel is in place for this bond sale.
Mhm. Well, I think we were told that, but I still say that we asked to start this process back when we approved the bond. And it's just, it appears to me as though we're dragging our feet. And I know it takes time and we have to go out and we have to do all of that, but I still say we've had so many disparities in this area. And to do this with me, I just want you to know that I do not approve, but I know we have to approve it for now, because we have the 30 days, and we have to sell the bonds in order to get moving with our program. Because I know Dr. Scribner stated that we were not going to drag our feet. We were going to get this bond moving, our construction and all of that. But I just want you to know that I just don't think that's, when you talk about equity, I don't think that was okay. That's not okay for us to continue with a group that consistently ignored others that wanted to be part of the process over the last 10 years.
Thank you, Trustee Moss. Any comments?
No.
Okay, thank you. Please move to voting. She voted yea. And the motion passes unanimously. Approval to select the Citizens Oversight Committee members for the 2017 Capital Improvement Program. Do I have a motion? Moved by Trustee Paz, seconded by Trustee Luivanos. Any discussion? Please move to voting. And the motion passes unanimously. We are at 15 on our agenda. Do any board members have any comments they'd like to share with the public this evening? Trustee Ramos.
I want to note that just came back from the Mexican American School Board Association's conference, and I was really glad to have the support of Trustee Luivanos and Mrs. Moss, who's the president of the Black Caucus. And we had a very, very good conference. We had a full house, and saw that some of our colleagues were over in Houston, and that was a pretty powerful images to see what's taking place statewide. And so I look forward to going and supporting Mrs. Moss and the Black Caucus, and I know that our team is going to be presenting on our equity journey at the Black Caucus Conference. And then the other one is related to the students. Was really pleased to see Northside High School's football team make their way over to Manuel Jara Elementary for an initiative they called Steers to Read, where they took a football helmet and the football players went and the children were all getting in line to put the Northside Steers football helmet. And the football players were reading to the children. It was pretty powerful images, so I'd encourage you to go check that out at their social media. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Ramos. Trustee Moss?
Thank you, President Jackson. I too attended TAPSE, Texas Alliance of Black School Educators conference, and it was an outstanding conference. And I want to commend and congratulate Fort Worth TAPSE, because you had presenters, you had the principals, teachers, and several workshops. But I want you to know that we're on the cutting edge of all of the reform. And we had so many comments about how can we implement this program. You know, they wanted to know more about the programs that we implement in Fort Worth ISD. And so to all of those that were there, kudos. And you had administrators. It was just so many. Fort Worth was in the house. I mean, it was, I think, over 60 persons from Fort Worth. And you really did make Fort Worth ISD look good. One of the, I had an article earlier about books and barbers. Did I give that to you, Ms. Bree? You can, or either just mention it where you are. The Council of Great City Schools.
Mrs. Moss shared with me that in the Urban Educator brochure, it mentioned our Reading with Barbers program and had one of the barbers with one of the young men. I think you've seen the picture in the chair, so that was noted in that, and I had not seen it, so.
National publication.
Thank you, a national publication.
Yes, and if any of you out in the TV audience or the audience here want to donate to the program, they always need books. Please do so. Ms. Breed is Assistant Superintendent of Equity and Excellence Department. Thank you.
And we can accept those books, I imagine, at the front desk at 100 North University. Is that right, Ms. Breed?
Yes, we can accept them here, or we sometimes Eastside Alliance or Historic Stop 6 also goes out and picks up those
Great.
books.
And many times, if they would make the donation, we have books, we have librarians that order the books that the students need. So we're taking all donations.
Thank you, Trustee Moss. Trustee,
And I know I talk slow. Give it.
I've done better tonight, only once.
That's okay, that's okay. I want to thank Lockheed Martin. Lockheed Martin had their Black History program, had it yesterday. And one of the recognitions, C.C. Moss Elementary, their mentoring program at C.C. Moss was recognized yesterday, and the principal, Kachara, was there. Charla was there. And I just want to say Lockheed Martin does so much for Fort Worth ISD. Their mentors, the programs, the dollars that they spend on our students. I just want to thank them for supporting public education. And I was one of the individuals that they recognized for Black History Month. And so I just want to say thank you to Lockheed. And the last one I have is an invitation from Region 11. And it's the grassroots Region 11 that goes with TASB. And the meeting is tomorrow evening. And I sent all the board members an email. So I encourage you to attend the Region 11 TASB board members meeting. And during this meeting, we will determine the legislative priorities for the next legislative session. And you have on your email, you have all the details. You ready? Go ahead.
Thank you, Trustee Moss. Trustee Leibanas.
Thank you, President Jackson. So I also went to MASBA over the weekend, and we got back with an award from MASBA for ISD for all the work that we do. So I wanted to show that I don't know if we can put it outside in the cabinet.
Absolutely. That's cool.
That's all. Thank you.
And on that note, we are adjourned.